Welcome to the Australian Business Executive Podcast, where we speak with Australia's most influential industry professionals on the business and economic development issues taking place across the country. You can stay up to date with all our content, including our magazines, podcasts and videos by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.
Today's guest is Robert Nardis, Director of ErgoLogic. He is a Melbourne-based physiotherapist and is the Director of ErgoLogic with over 30 years' experience assessing and treating musculoskeletal injury as Director of Sandringham Sports Physio. Combining his detailed knowledge of the human body, injury, and sound ergonomic practice, ErgoLogic was born out of a passion to educate workers and prevent workplace injury. Robert, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you.
So, tell us a little bit more and give us an overview of the ErgoLogic business.
Sure. Look, we're a Melbourne-based company and we've been around for just over 5 years, so we're still learning and growing as we go. I'm a physiotherapist and all our staff are physiotherapists, which is a real point of difference for us. And we specialise in providing logical, cost-effective, ergonomic advice and solutions for your workplace, whether they be at home or in the office.
So what do we know about lost productivity to workplace injury and underperformance that affects business profitability?
Look, the stats are quite alarming. In Australia, nearly 600,000 workers suffer from work-related injuries per annum, and 60% of those require time off work. The average compensation claim exceeds $10,000 and requires around 6 weeks off work. And these are figures from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. It's not uncommon for a workplace injury to exceed 6 figures in compensation. The estimated annual cost of work-related injuries, according to the Bureau, exceeds $60 billion per annum. As I said earlier, our team is made up of physiotherapists who are still actively treating patients in private practice. And certainly we can confirm that since March 2020, when COVID-19 changed the way so many of us work, we've been seeing large numbers of workers who are now reporting neck, back, shoulder and arm problems related to poor ergonomic setups at home, or even as they return to the office, because their offices have now changed. As many people scrambled from the office, taking chairs, monitors and anything they could to try and set up at home, now that they've moved back into the office, not everything went back where it belonged. And for the most part, their symptoms improve or resolve when we correct their ergonomic adjustments and give them strategies to help reduce the strain that's been put on their bodies.
Okay. So tell us about the most common ways ErgoLogic assists companies and their employees then.
Well, our most popular product is our interactive seminar, without a doubt. And we can run this on site for up to 50 staff. And as I said, it is interactive, so we like to keep numbers if we're on site to around 50. But we can now run this remotely for any number of team members. And as we run it over Zoom or whatever medium works for you, we can deliver this now internationally. And we've had over 1,000 people on the end of our Zoom. I actually run the seminars and I love running them. They're fun to deliver. We aim to educate and empower our teams towards a cultural change in the workplace. So, for example, some of the topics we cover, we have a slide that talks about the high 5 key points that every workstation should have, whether that be at the home office or their workstation in the office. We list all the features that a good chair should have. When we run these on site, we actually go back to each worker's workstation and ask them to make the adjustments based on the education we've just given you. When I ask them, how do you adjust your chair? They only know that there's one lever that makes the chair go up and down. Whereas a great chair actually has 4 or 5 adjustments to give you the ideal posturing. We talk about monitor heights and how to use dual screens. So many people are working off 2 screens but don't know how to set them up properly, and that's leading to eye strain and neck strain. We settle the score on how to use sit-stand desks. Not everybody needs one. 10% of the population get sore backs if they use a sit-stand desk. And so we reveal a very simple formula that will allow your body and back to last longer, which is 28 and 2 is all you do. Let me explain. You sit for 20 minutes, stand for 8, and walk for 2 in any 30-minute period. And that's where you get the equation. 28 and 2 is all you do. Now, we know that's not going to happen every 30-minute period that you're in the workplace, but if you can get that ratio right by the end of the day or the end of the week, I guarantee you, your body, your back will appreciate it. We also encourage owners and managers to attend these workshops. And we give them other very vital equations that we try and get the point across, that if you change your posture, you'll change your energy and you'll improve your productivity. I'm actually going to say it again. We get them to change their posture, to change their energy, to improve productivity. As part of this cultural change, we provide everyone with a list of exercises that they can do in their offices, whether it be at home or in the workplace, that will help change their posture, which achieves the mutual goals. I mean, we're all after the same thing. Let's improve work morale, let's improve productivity, and let's reduce the risk of injury in the workplace. We even have a quiz at the end of it to ensure that we're hitting the mark and that our key learning points are being taken home.
So is sitting considered the equivalent of the new smoking these days?
Good question, Jesse. Look, certainly that phrase grabbed headlines a couple of years ago. Let me provide you with some context. It is actually true, believe it or not, that prolonged or excessive sitting can lead to health issues that are similar to those experienced by smokers. But I believe a far better and more accurate phrase is a sedentary lifestyle can lead to health risks similar to smoking. So as you know, our bodies are made up of joints and muscles, and they need movement, and they need oxygenated blood, which comes through movement. If we're stagnant for too long, we reduce blood flow to these structures and blood flow to our vital organs. This leads to all sorts of health issues, from wear and tear, especially to our spines, cardiovascular issues, decreased lung function because you're simply not aerating your lungs and filling them, and that gives you potential for diabetes and cholesterol issues. So yes, health risks are linked to a sedentary lifestyle. And as we know, sitting is sedentary. So we recommend to avoid sitting for more than 8 to 10 hours a day. I'll say that again. We recommend to avoid sitting for more than 8 to 10 hours per day. So you don't want to use up all your sitting quota at work. We also suggest to avoid sitting for more than 30 to 60 minutes without taking a micro break, a mini break, a postural mini break. And in our seminar, we outline the Quit the Sit campaign. And we give you sensible options that you can employ at home or in the office, such as standing up for all phone calls. Put your phone out of your inner reach zone. So every time it rings, you've got to stand up, take a couple of steps, and stand up while you're talking on the phone. Set your phone for hourly micro breaks, and we give them exercise options. The walk and talk option, right? And we give them exercises that they can do at lunchtime, all aimed to reduce the impact of sitting.
And so how has COVID-19 impacted your services or strategies that you offer through ErgoLogic?
Well, like everybody else, we had to adapt quickly. And it's guided us down more of a preventative program, which really fits in with our model as physiotherapists. It guided us down a preventative and a remote pathway. And although we can still fix problems with our advice and education performed face-to-face, so we're now starting to get back into the workplace, we've modified our products to be flexible so we can deliver them and reach out to larger audiences. And we found this necessary to deal with the massive push to work from home, as so many team members, as you know, were caught out as they simply were not equipped to deal with full-time work, working from home or working from... Many people got sent home with a laptop. A laptop is for temporary use only, and it's very difficult to set a laptop up properly. So we've had to help a lot of people working from home on some simple guidance when working from home with things like laptops.
You had mentioned your other products, so why don't you just take a second to talk about the other services that you offer?
We have numerous ergonomic services, and the good thing about us is that we can tailor packages to suit any business and any budget. For example, we have, as I said, remote and on-site workstation assessments. We do this for injured workers to help them get out of pain, and we do this for non-injured workers. So many people get us in just to assess their workplaces for people who've got no problems, but they care enough about their staff to help prevent future issues. We offer car assessments and home assessments. Many people are working from home and also mobile offices. And as you know, not every car is the same and not every body is the same. Again, that's why I employ physiotherapists to do ergonomics. Our sit-stand desks are also very popular. They're lightweight, easy to adjust, and they're both ergonomically and aesthetically spot on. We have some of the best chairs on the market. Our top-end chair is the human scale Smart Ocean chair, and it retails for around $1,000. And no one should have to spend more than $1,000 on a top quality chair. Now, this chair is actually made from recycled fishing nets by a company that is cleaning out our oceans. We've got an amazing video on our website, which certainly caught me in. I didn't realise the amount of fishing nets that were being dumped in the ocean and causing havoc with our wildlife. So cleaning out the oceans and making a chair that's ergonomically sound was a win for us. We, of course, have other chairs that retail for around $350 to $550. And for bulk orders, we can actually get the price under $300 per unit. We have pretty much every office accessory from footrests to keypads to an upright mouse. Once you go to an upright mouse, you're not going back. I'll give you the tip. And if we don't have it, we've got the resources and the staff to source for you the best value for money products we can find.
So with the impact of COVID, what do you think is the future of employment when it comes to, these issues and remote working?
Yeah, look, good question. As you're aware, 2020, many staff were sent home to work in quite a rush. And it led to all sorts of issues that I've previously alluded to, and they're flowing into physio and chiro clinics around the country. But now we know working from home will be the new norm. And workers will need to get used to hybrid work environments. Staff are already being divided into teams and they're alternating when they come into the office. So offices are now taking new shape and forms to accommodate this change. I think hot desks will be far more of a focus. Now understand this, it means different staff will have access to and be required to share a desk on the same day or different days. So for mine, this just heightens the fact we need to educate the workforce on how to set up their own workstations, because it's an individual thing, and that's what people need to understand. They need to set it up to their own specific requirements, and they need to apply this each time they come into the office and readjust when they go back home, because back home they might be sharing the office with their kids or their partner. I'd imagine also that offices will have less desk space available to team members. They're downsizing, requiring them to share space when team members do arrive in the office. And I'd imagine when they're asked to come into the office, it'll be for more collaborative face-to-face assignment work. As a result, I'm guessing the spaces or areas will be more conducive to collaborative working areas. And this is what's going to feature in offices in the future.
So, Robert, we're getting towards the end of our conversation. Before we finish today, is there anything that you haven't had a chance to address?
Well, look, I suppose I should finish by just reminding everyone who's listening that under Australian law, employers have a legal responsibility to ensure a worker's environment is appropriately set up, whether that be in the office or at home. So employers must take steps to reduce work, health and safety risks with the available and suitable ergonomic, or should I say ErgoLogic solutions.
Excellent. Well, Robert, thanks very much for your time today.
No problem. Thank you, Jesse.
This has been a production of the Australian Business Executive, a division of Romulus Rising Proprietary Limited. All rights reserved. You can stay up to date with the Australian Business Executive, including our magazines, podcasts and videos by visiting www.theabe.com.au and clicking on subscribe.